What's going on, Fourth and Inches podcast listeners? You got Kevin, Steve. What's going on, Kev?
What's going on, Stevie P? Making out today, brother?
I can't complain, bro. How you got it?
Good. We're going to get into our daily fantasy lineups. We decided to do a DraftKings and a FanDuel for you this week. We seem to be getting good feedback on their dailies and our daily fantasies, and putting out a couple good lineups for you guys. So we figured we'd just go with both sites for you today, and probably start doing this going forward.
Yeah, it sounds good. So we're going to bust out our FanDuel lineups, and Kevin's going to start us off.
All right. I got Tom Brady at quarterback. Nothing needs to be said. I have Jordan Howard. I like his matchup against the Saints. I have Bilal Powell as my second running back. I'm stealing Steve's thunder here. Steve constantly is jamming home the how pass receiving running backs do against the Falcons. So I'm trying to feed off his advice, and I went with Bilal Powell. I went with Chris Hogan to match with Brady this week. I'm going with Nelson Aguilar. Dude seems to be scoring touchdowns every week. I'm going with A.J. Green against the Indianapolis weak secondary. I have Kyle Rudolph. He's going against the Cleveland Browns, who seem to always give a good week to tight ends. At my kicker, I have Tavecchio, and as my defense, I got the Vikings.
Sounds good. I like that lineup. So I tell you guys all the time, either I'm going expensive or cheap quarterback, and I went cheap this week. I'm going Andy Dalton against Indianapolis. They've been giving up the second most fantasy points to quarterbacks, so I like that matchup for Andy.
Mm-hmm.
I went with Le'Veon Bell and Kareem Hunt. I'm super expensive at running him back. I know a lot of people aren't going to own Kareem Hunt because of his matchup, but that doesn't matter to me. I really like him this week. He catches the ball out of the backfield, and I can see him having a big game, especially on Monday night. I have Chris Hogan at wide receiver. I have Juju Smith-Schuster and Demaryius Thomas. I like all three of those guys for touchdowns this week, and we tell you guys all the time that if you are going to roster, any wide receivers, it should be guys that you think are going to score touchdowns. So I think those guys have chances at touchdowns this week. Hunter Henry is my tight end. I really like him going up against New England. New England in the past, I want to say 8 games. I think it's like the 6 or 7 of the last 8. They've given up a touchdown to a tight end. So Hunter Henry's a good chance of getting in the end zone this week. I have Jake Elliott as my kicker. Just a guy who's been kicking a lot of field goals, and I like him this week. And then I have the Steelers defense on Sunday night going up against Detroit. Steelers defense have been scoring some points. They have 9, 9, 5, and 14 the past 4 games. So, like them this week.
Nice. All right. So I guess with that said, we'll get into DraftKings. Quarterback in DraftKings, I went cheap in DraftKings. I went with Case Keenum against the Cleveland Browns. My running backs, I have Jordan Howard again, and I have Dion Lewis. Dion Lewis is $4,600, and he seems to be getting a lot of the workload in New England now. So I like Dion Lewis this week. My wide receivers, I went expensive. I got Mike Evans, A.J. Green, and then I took Josh Doxson, who seemed to be taking a lot of that X receiver role from Terrell Pryor. So we'll see how that works out. I also went with 2 guys that I just had in my FanDuel lineup at my tight end with Kyle Rudolph, and at my flex I went with Bilal Powell again. And my defense is the Atlanta Falcons against the Jets.
I like the Atlanta Falcons defense. I was thinking about taking them. They are at home, but I kind of went with...
No, they're actually on the road.
Oh, they're on the road. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
they
I'm
are on the
thinking they're at
road.
home. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the road.
So my quarterback this week is Phillip Rivers. Going against New England. I kind of feel like he can get off in this game. He's a little bit cheaper option this week. I have LaShawn McCoy against Oakland at home. I feel like he's, good for.
I see a big game for Shady too. I was debating on Shady.
Yeah, I like Shady this week, and the Raiders have been giving up a lot of points to our running back, so I figured Shady at home. Let's see what happens. I went with Jay Ajayi in Baltimore. I just like him this week, so he's 5,900, which is the cheapest he's been in a long time. So I figure I get him in a lineup. I have Michael Thomas going against Chicago. Enough said with that one. Teddy Ginn Jr. I was looking for a cheaper wide receiver, and I found Ted Ginn. So let's see here. I went with tight end Jordan Reed. I like him in Dallas this week. Dallas has been getting up a lot of points also to tight ends, and I figured it's a good matchup. Let's get him in there. Other wide receiver, I went with Ricardo Lewis. I know I've been telling you guys for the past couple of weeks to start him, but he has been catching the ball. So in a full PPR scoring system that DraftKings has, he's safe 10 points. So figure I like that. I went with Matt Forte at my flex. I kind of went the opposite with Kev. I know he said he liked what's his name?
Bilal Powell.
Bilal Powell, but Matt Forte has gotten 13 of 13 targets in the past 2 weeks, so they are using him in that role, and he's their main back, to start games. So I figure I'll get him in that lineup. And then I went the Redskins defense. It was just the cheapest option I could find at that point, and I figured, hey, let's see what happens. They are at home. If they stop Zeke, they could have a good game.
Definitely agree. We were just talking about that, and Redskins D did a good job on the Eagles rushing attack this week, but they just gave up a lot through the air. And if they get Norman back, they could also that could be good for that passing attack, or for their pass defense, and allow them to focus on the run defense even a little bit more. So yeah, I agree. Washington could be a good defense, especially if Norman's playing.
I hear that. I actually did one more lineup I want to run through real quick. I know you got to get out of here, Kev, but I wanted to do another lineup that I actually, because I could see this week using 2 tight ends, what I was saying about Henry earlier. So I have Phillip Rivers, Jay Ajayi, Joe Mixon. I think he could get off this week. AJ Green, Keenan Allen, Ted Ginn Jr., Jordan Reed, Hunter Henry, and the Steelers defense is another lineup I like this week. So try either one of those out and see what happens, guys.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Enjoy your DFS weeks, Thursday through Monday slate, and we will catch you tomorrow night
with our rankings.
Yes. All right, let's get it, guys.
Take it easy, everyone.